there has been a huge shift in customer behaviour over the last probably 3-4 years. Really, it's now taking an increasing pace. You know, where people more and more are using the internet as a source of information about products and services. You know, their behaviour is changing significantly. You know, there's a relentless shift to moving online. Why? Because of great transparency. People can see what's available, how much it costs, what's good value, and they can make choices about which products to buy at a particular point in time with a degree of education that they would never have had in the past. A lot of organisations have also been quite keen to actually drive their customers to the online world, to get them to self-service online. Why? To drive down costs. Well, that's great, but if you start doing that, it gets to the point where you're actually moving the customers away from face-to-face contact with your organisation. Is the customer really interested anymore in actually having a relationship with you? You still want to maintain their business, but are you pushing them away? So, I guess the takeout from that is going to be that all of those opportunities you have for interactions with your customers, and they're probably going to be different now. There's probably going to be a lot more around sales and service interactions. A blurring then of marketing, sales and service. So when a customer comes into you, you need to make sure that whoever's talking to that customer knows everything about them and knows what's the right thing to talk to that person about today. If they're telling you stuff, to understand what they're telling you, to capture it, and to use that information to make recommendations back to the customer during that conversation. Why? Because it's relevant. You're offering something the customer's interested in at the time when they're most likely to buy. They're receptive to what you're telling them. But with the blurring of sales and marketing services, having customer intelligence embedded in your operational processes is going to be more and more important going forwards. And again, a phenomenon, an increasingly interesting one. There's a colleague on our team, Norman, he said his wife, 3 years ago, never used the internet, wasn't really interested in computers. Now, uses the internet like a criminal genius. Is on there, browsing, researching, looking for the best information on holidays, and what's happened? They get fantastic holidays at a much, much lower cost. Great resorts, great accommodation, great travel for a lot less money. My own father, he's now 80, and this is a man who, up until probably about 6 months ago, would never even think about using a microwave. So not only has he taught himself digital photographic processing online, but now he goes online and sources all the products he needs to do all the photography himself. And he's taught himself in about 6 months. There's a fundamental shift in behaviour. And it's not just impacting the Generation Y guys who are born with mobiles in their hands. It's everybody's changing. And they're moving away from the traditional channels of interaction. So attitudes and expectations are changing. And that means you've got to really engage on the customer's terms. It's no longer appropriate for you to just decide when the right time is to make an offer to a customer is, and you're going to make a campaign, that by campaign, then it's going to hit maybe tens or hundreds of thousands of customers. Because what you don't know is for most of those customers, is now the right time to be making an offer. You need to be seeing what they're telling you that indicates they're interested in products right now, and you need to be able to respond to that. And with the increasing rise of online intelligence, if you get this wrong, there's a lot more ways of customers reaching a lot more other people to tell them how bad their experiences with you have been. So it's very, very important to engage effectively and to really manage that customer relationship through every single touch point, every single opportunity you can. We're seeing a rise in different sorts of data. This changing behaviour means that, probably unlike the past, data from your channels is going to be more and more important to understand how your customers are interacting with your organisation. And that information, and particularly from the web, can give you some really, really powerful insights what customers need today that can form the basis of your targeting of future marketing activity. We'll come on to that in a lot more detail. But this is a key thing. We can not only help you get access to that data, but we can help you manipulate it to identify those opportunities to make your marketing smarter. I think a lot of organisations have lost focus on particularly financial services over the last few years. What is it that customers are looking for from their relationships? And actually, a lot of customers are actually looking for you to create value for them. And if you do that, and you can prove that you're doing that, then they're going to create value for you by building up a long-term relationship, by buying multiple products, by becoming loyal, becoming more loyal. But to do that, you've really got to earn their trust, and I think a lot of consumers out there right now are extremely suspicious. After the last 6-12 months, they're very, very nervous about the way that they've been treated by organisations. So it's important for you to start regaining their trust. How do you need to do that? 2 requirements. You need to be able to show you're wanting to act in the customer's interests. Well, this is a difficult thing. This is not an area that SaaS typically get involved in, the kind of the restructuring the kind of corporate focus. But what we can help you with is the second point. So you not only need the intention to act in the customer's interests, we also need the ability to actually carry that intent out. So all the things we were saying about making your contacts with customers more relevant, more appropriate, you need the infrastructure in place to help you do that. And that's exactly where we fit in. The SaaS CI solution set is quite broad. In summary, and this is a very, very high-level summary of what we do within the customer intelligence space. Firstly, over in the kind of the red, this is a little bit of a history of SaaS slide. So this is kind of where SaaS really started out 30 years ago in kind of the world of analytic intelligence, predictive analytics, helping you understand what customers need and actually make appropriate offers using that insight. Both Neil and myself came from a very small organisation called Intrinsic, and we supplied campaign management software. And in 2001, we were taken over by SaaS, and our campaign management solution then formed the basis of the SaaS kind of interaction platform. So the ability to put all of this insight, intelligence, into action. Because analytics, intelligence in its own right, is of no value unless you can act on it. So this is all about making you able to run the right campaigns at the right times, to the right customers, in the right places. And then putting in place all the kind of the measuring processes to help you understand how effective that's been. To help you capture information about, well, who did respond? So the next time around, you can revise your predictive models to constantly keep on improving the accuracy of your targeting. Neil's going to start talking a little bit more about customer insight. Very basic level, probably a lot of you are from the analytics world. But what we want to reinforce is the importance of analytics. Because analytics is the gateway to letting you do a lot of things smarter. Not just helping you immediately target campaigns, but also when we look at things like optimization. Having the right kind of analytics in place is a key input to some of those smarter, way more effective techniques that can help you get significantly more return from your pressured budgets.